man, I could have done a local recording, beta mode, StreamYard, shout out. But I didn't. I didn't see that. I hit live. Hey everybody, how's it going? Uh, Welcome to Tuesday Truth, Tuesday Talk, Tuesday Talking Truth on Tuesdays. That's what I'm gonna call this one. Not all of those words, but perhaps maybe all of them. Depends how I feel. Been a while. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, etc., etc. I've been holding on to a lot of downloads and things that we got to talk about. So I'm in an effort to get them all out properly, or at least as quickly as we can. I'm going to try and remember what they all are for the past month. So there's a lot of downloads. And there's a reason it's happening today on Tuesday, the Truth Day, Truth Talk Tuesday Day, Truth, you know. Hey, yos. Hey, guys. Hope you guys are doing good out there. And it's tough to, bring the download after you've already gotten it and without getting into so many discussions, which is why I'm going to do my best here. And really, so Truth Talk, it's called Truth Talk Tuesday. The reason why they're saying Truth Talk is because I got to a point, at least today, where they were finally just saying, like, you have to start pointing this out with everybody, right? Like as we always all do. And it's just the fact that everybody got caught. It's this idea of truth. What is truth? What isn't truth? What is this? What is that? What is, the whole thing's a game, and you got to pull yourself out of the equation entirely in order to see it, right? And then you realize you get to play whatever part in it that you can, plus all of the added parts that are already there that you came to, and so then it's integrating and aligning with what you have to do versus, what you can create. It's the same thing, right? But the idea that people need to know the truth stems from the fact that we're told that we don't know the truth. It's very simple. We, for some of us, we've known this, right? We're constantly told what truth is. And if you get it right, it's not even like yes or no, you got it right or wrong, but we even grade it, like where you got an A, a B, a C, a D, like you got it kind of right. You got it. There's all different levels of getting messed up and how we think right or wrong, so it's the concept, like, that people are looking for what they already know, and how to justify, or asking somebody else in order to find it. And that's why there's all this confusion in the world. And this is only one of the millions of things that came through all month. So hopefully I'm going to be able to remember them all this way. Yo, what's happening, guys? Yo. I'm trying to stay in the vibe that it's been for the whole month. It's just been crazy. But yesterday they're hitting me pretty hard. And I don't even know where to start. I didn't feel ready. I haven't felt ready for this video. But I had to get it started. And I'm going to go live again, you guys, tonight with Jeanette. I can't even think right now. We're going to go live on her show too. So I'll probably have something out coming again, which will be good because I'll have some feedback or something with somebody else talking, which is probably what I need. I need to be asked questions right now because I'm still trying to figure all this out myself, how to put it all together. But the place that we're coming to, and the place that we're at, and the place that people are being asked to, it's all coming together, but it's only coming together as far as people are willing to believe in themselves and willing to know the difference and willing to admit, like, and to not need to know. That's the problem. Everybody needs to know something, and we got to stop that, right? It's the letting, let go, let life, let God, let love, let whatever, um we're constantly trying to control it. How do we get rich? How do we do this? How do we do that? How do we get that thing that you want? How do we get here? How do we get there? And so part of the truth is, you know being open and receptive to those moments it just when it just comes. I don't know how else to say that, right? I don't know. I wanted to try to catch myself in the moment here. All the truths. Did so and so do this politically? Did such and such happen like this economically? Did such and such, and we're just rolling it over. It's Groundhog's Day, right? Like I said, we're just kind of repeating the same things over and over and over. Like, oh, so and so said this, so and so didn't say that, and so and so, and it's like I don't care anymore who said what. Like, it's getting to this point where you know, if you look at it, the collective, they're still collecting information, I think, and a lot of this, like, so people want there to be actual, let's say, the arrests or things like this, um, but so in order to do that, you have to play. It's like we're having to play the whole game. They're having to get involved in it all, and they're having to do all this stuff. So we're literally watching as this is all playing out, just so that people can get themselves to the truth, to the point, right? And as people, it's just being open and going back to being receptive, being open, hearing things out without thinking that you already know things, because I've, even the past month, running into people who don't believe in, spiritual nothing, or just completely out. Like old friends, like growing up, as kids or whatever, people just don't, people believe what they want to believe. But it was just a really palpable feeling, like there's people who really just don't. There's all the different layers. There's people who don't want to buy into it because they don't believe it, because they've been hearing it their whole lives, because this and this and this, right? Or whatever. It's all fancy, smancy, spiritual stuff, right? Or it's fancy, spancy conspiracy stuff, or it's fancy, or it's this whatever. And everybody's been ignoring it. And we wonder why, as people, we need to experience the negative. Well, because we don't do anything, right? So there's a big example, so that's why doing your work, and everybody shout out everybody doing their shadow work, there's so much to do, but it's more about allowing. It's more about allowing and putting yourself in the position to catch or retrieve or put out anything that you need to or you don't need to, right? It's taking care of yourself so that you can be available when you need to help the universe, or when the universe calls on you or something like this, and always believing things, right? I think I saw some guy, he was doing is a TikTok or short or something, where he's talking about hope. Forget hope. He's like, hope don't mean you got nothing, or whatever. And he's like, I know. He's like, when I had my cancer, I assume, I told my wife no, my daughter no, ain't no, I'm right here. And so I cancer survivor, I'm assuming, I don't know, it's a short or something, but there's that balance seesaw of knowing and creating and putting and being in this and this and this, versus how it's got to play out, versus what's going to happen, versus how and so where are we going with this? I'm trying to go somewhere with these. Oh, there's so much. Like I said, I haven't put all this together, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's based off of, if you guys have been watching me for a while, what are you guys talking about? Oh man, having a wonderful day a little bit. Need to know something, I'll find out. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Wanting's not a need, so you need to know something, you'll find out. Exactly. Yeah, Groundhog's Day. Yeah, totally. Solar Returns. Hey, okay, that's new gifts coming online. 144. Yeah, no, for sure. That's really what I've been getting into too. It's a whole new, you know, if you know, you know, right? The truth, the this, the that, and you're already doing your part. You're already playing the part that you're supposed to play, and you got to keep playing it. Like I was cracking up because I said the spirit. I was like, so I said this is exactly how I had planned. Like, right, my plan is coming together perfectly. Like this was exactly how I was gonna ascend and help and this and that and the other, no matter what it looks like. But, as people figure that out more, it's like you have to learn it so that you can unlearn it all. You have to go through all the stories and all of this and all of that in order to get to the place where you forget about it all. And so really what I like, that's why I like to always focus on, that's why I always feel like I'm saying the same thing, is because I'm talking about like the oneness, the moment that you get to decide. So it's like when you're walking around and you're in the world and you're in a public place, we think of it as we're physical beings and we're hi this and this, and like if somebody waves, that means they're trying to get your attention. But the reality, right, is that we're all already communicating telepathically. We're already trying to get each other's, some people are trying to get people's attention, some people that, and you can feel it all. So we're literally swimming through like all of what we are and who we are. And so there needs to be more sensitivity, there needs to be more awareness, there needs to be more, and when you have that truth comes out naturally because you feel it and you know it and you can hear it and you can see it. There's something that happens before the lie, and it's called the truth. Even if it's that, whatever it is, that half second where somebody knows what the situation actually is, but then does something else, or this or that or the other, um, and then anchoring it. Right, anchoring it. Why anchoring it? Because there's still so many to the opposite side that are not anchoring. Anchoring what? Anchoring the still going out. The consumeristic lifestyle, if you will. This and that. It's kind of like, people talk about this ism or that ism, like, China-ism, or what's the socialism, or what's the other one, and then capitalism, right? And we keep saying this one's the best one, that one's the best one, this one's the best. If anybody needs to like debate and figure out what the best one is, they don't know. And if we're arguing between each other, then neither one of us know, and we need to be combining our efforts in order to come to the best one, because the best one is called abundance for all ism. Abundanceism. Like I don't care about, like, there's so much more. It's a lot that they want to say, man. It's a lot to talk about. There's so much more. And if we go in a practical way towards this with people who are rational, maybe don't believe it, if we go this way, it's going to be very slow and long and drawn out, because we're not even close. Okay. The energy is awakening, and it's coming more and more. And we're hitting, we did hit what's that called? What they call the majority, the turning point. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, we did hit majority, so that's okay. But how many hundreds of millions of years does it take to get to the center of the Tsitsipa, right? So there's like half of it says this is all love. It's all beings that are already got this handled. We don't got to worry about nothing. Everybody's here to help. Well, since when did everybody get here to help? And honestly, you better tell me that they came here yesterday, because if they're so good at helping, but they've always been helping, that doesn't say much. Because listen, we're not in the dark ages anymore. We don't have guillotines. Shout out, I didn't want to put a visual name, but like stuff like that. Thank goodness, right? Like, it was worst, and we think about this stuff, and that wasn't very long ago. So the fact that this has been going on though for how long? So what took? Nobody noticed. But if you're God, if you're this, if you're that, if who didn't notice? Nobody got out the warning call, and then it took time, which doesn't exist, to get here to fix it all. So all of this figuring out this nuance stuff that everybody, it is this, it is that, is it, it's like the idea, what can you picture other than what you've already seen or already heard of? Somebody asks you to draw a tree. um, you're going to draw a tree, but if you've never seen a tree, you'd have no idea. If somebody asks you to draw an underwater sea creature, right, named, blah, whatever, whatever that name, fill in blank, what are you going to draw? You're not going to be able to draw it because you'll just, you could make up something, right? So if we go in one way, what they're trying, okay, if we go in one way, it's going to be more difficult. So all the proof and all the facts and all the evidence, all the this, that everybody needs to see is just going to take, is what's going to take all the time to get, I don't know where, yeah, that never, to get there. We'll call it there. Okay. Thank you. Look, we'll just say there. And skipping ahead can be done through all the practices that everybody's talking about. This is all the healing that you guys are doing, all the work, all the energy. You're literally, we're the bridges. We're jumping, we're skipping it, very quickly, or as quickly as we can, right? Because, and this is why it's important to maintain your vibration every single day and grow it. You need to get as big as states and countries, with your vibration. You need to be able to send your vibration all the way out across like an entire country, right? Like learn how to do this. Going like this. I know it's like the Dantian. I know. That's why I'm doing this. It's like I'm going. I was making more videos on that stuff yesterday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. There's just so much energy, and I had to hop on. I was like, oh my gosh, I do, like, really, it's been this long. I'm so like, and all right, let's pull some cards. Let's just see. Tuesday, Truth Tuesday, right? There's so many truths. But the reason why I'm saying that is because there's so many not truths. There's more not truths. And the fact that I'm saying so many truths just goes to shows like how many truths we still got to get to, no, we should have a few more left to go and a lot of chaos to just, play through. But what was the one today I was getting on with the JFK supposedly not saying what he said, and I specifically remember him saying that, and then, but now you can't find it on any of the videos. And I'm just like, well, they did that. They did that to Luke, I am your father. Now it's no, I'm your father, right? They changed all of those things, I think we can still find them though, because people still have the old recordings. So, but it's funny, like when I was looking it up and they were saying he didn't say it, and I was looking results, every time I got to like page 5 or 6, every time I hit the result, it would be the same results, all 8 of the same results in a row. So I'm like, you don't have anything on JFK, you don't have anything on him about this past page 5 with 8 results. So that's like, what's 8 times 5? 40. So there's 40 results on all of this. He's been around for he's been researched decades, but all you could search for was 8 results. The same 8 results kept coming up. So they scrubbed it. That's when this being scrubbed, because they got rid of all of that. They got rid of a date range. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. What was it? Groundhog's Day. So return this. Playing your part might be just to being you. Well, that's, yeah. I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what it is. A lot of us have been being who we are, right, our whole lives, and getting shit for it. Let's say, if you're the class clown, or or you don't do your homework, so you're a bad kid, and then or I don't know, whatever, you ditch everything's, and the reality is, it's like those are still awesome people. They're just like, forget this, I'm out of school today, I want to go, I'm taking a day off. right? Like, my parents didn't approve. Oh well, I do. Okay. Like, not a big deal. But we living in this world, and I wanted to talk about that too. Drama. Thank you. Drama was another big one that came up. Everybody wants the drama story. Everybody, it's like I said, we have a genre of stories called drama where it's none of it's true, unless it's based on a true story, but everything is dramatized, right? Everything we see. But we want that because we think it's fascinating because it's in a movie or it looks spectacular, or or just put something shiny in front of, their face and they're going to go for it. We got to stop. It's like the Star Spangled, and the drama. It's just, what was the drama? Give it back. They got to give me what we're talking about. Like it's always like whatever it is, it's just dramatic and it doesn't have to be, I don't know, oh, the neighbor called, or all the, I don't know what the neighbor has to do with it. Hold on, it's cutting out. He usually does this. This one, every time StreamYard thinks it wants to check in on my stream. So it does. It's always like 20 minutes in. There's always like one point during my lives that this just goes like. I don't know if you guys will hear this, but it's like on one bar. Hopefully it's still going. Let's see where the drama. Is there why are we pausing? This is funny. Hold on. Bear with me for a second. I'm sorry. We're gonna pull some cards. I'll pull some cards. I want to do Messenger Oracle right off the bat. But everything in life, it's like the concept of gossip. Like there's people out there who really like gossip. But it's like when people come up and tell me so and so this, so and so did that. Why do I need to know this? So in a way, it's like the gossip people are creating their own drama just by being gossiping. We already know that. Like, I'm trying to say this in a nice way. Like, and everybody's got to realize you're living your own life already. You're living it exactly the way you want it. But being you, and people can be like that and not care so much. But how do you not care about what you care about so much, right? So this is a thing with spirit. I would talk to them all the time. We're supposed to care, but then we're supposed to not care about how it works out, right? So why do I even care enough to do the thing if I'm not supposed to worry about the outcome? And that's alluding to the alignment and just doing, just following whatever you want to do, you need to do, and you feel like doing, and not judging it, not, like I said earlier, trying to figure it out and try to control it and try to understand everything and try to, it's like all the conspiracy stuff that's coming out now, where there's so much evidence, there's so much information on it all. Yeah, and even when I was a kid, it was like I never researched any of this stuff. I didn't care about politics, but I already knew that they're full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain that. And then I say to Spirit, well, so if I came in here and there's certain ones of us who already have this sense of things, so we already remember, right? Part of why we're here with this whole thing is but nobody else does. Right? How well, how do we, what are we supposed to do? How do we get in there? That's it. How do we and so they're funny. It's I've had so many conversations with Spirit this past month, man. I can't even. I wish I could just get them all, because I've said before, as soon as I start recording, even if it's an audio, I'll grab my phone, I'll hit record, I'll boom, and then I'll go, and then I'll start, and then it's just like, whatever comes out. What time is it? I'm gonna shut the window over here. Give me a sec, guys. I don't want to be too loud with the neighbors. Guys, decorate. Oh my gosh, we decorated all over the place. It looks beautiful. I gotta show you. We finally added Reese. We got the Santa who was hanging from the window, so like he's trying to get in. That's kind of, we got Reese, everything. Mom went nuts, so it was pretty cool. So how's everybody doing? Yeah, you guys doing all right? What's happening? Anything going on in your lives? You know what I mean? Besides everything, where were we at, Spirit? Come on, guide me with the cards to all the other things that I gotta say. Something about the drama. We're going back to the drama. What was with the drama? The drama is it's. The question is, how do we get in there? Exactly. And it seems like the easiest way is just triggering everybody, right? So we don't want to trigger people, but we're going to have to trigger everybody, and big time. And the faster we trigger, the better. But it's good because I care. I care a lot. I don't want to have to do it this way, but we have to do it this way. This is how it's got to go. And I'm going to stomp on everybody who has anything to say about it otherwise. And I'm saying that publicly. So it's been a warning. Can't say I didn't warn you. And I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I was in the zone. I was like, oh man, I was all meditated. I was like, yo, and I was like, gotta get on there. And so I'm trying to go back over there. Be vigilant. Like, be vigilant, guys. Oh, come on. That's a cool card. Let's go. Everybody's, I'm affected by this. I'm affected by that. What? This is like the worst camera on the history. There it goes. Be vigilant. It's like he's protecting the tree. Yeah. Right. I think I remember this card. Be watchful and cautious of both others' actions and your own. Stand ready to protect yourself from those who may covet what you have or seek to harm those you care for, but also be vigilant and watchful of your own actions, lest you be the one doing harm. Weigh your actions. Be sure you act wisely. Be sure you've done all that needs to be done before moving forward. Leave nothing to chance, lest all you've nurtured and cherished be undone by your own lack of vigilance. Ooh, that's interesting. Very good. So I don't know. I think that's for everybody. That's a good one. Be vigilant, right? Especially with all the information coming out, with everything happening right now. Be vigilant. I wish there was an easier way of explaining or showing, right? Like, I mean, there is. Well, we know, but okay, it's just I'm talking here. English ain't even the original language, so just whatever. Get over your spells. If you say it, it's powerful. Not if it's in just plain English. Nowadays, English, we can argue things forever, right? What language are you have to talk about, right? And so it's like light language. I was saying it, earlier in my head and maybe a little bit out loud. I don't know. Sometimes it mumbles out. Everybody says light language is this, light language is that. I know the language is this, the language is that. In reality, there's with all of the stuff that's in the world. Think about, so if language is vibration, and the wave goes out and it creates matter and this and this. There's a different sound, pitch, tone in every single thing that, it's not just one language. It's not just like spells. It's not just this. This is where your intention is really important. Your intention is everything. Your intention is the first thing. Now, when you say it, that makes it boom, hear physical manifest because you're sending the vibration out vocally, that's a great thing to do. But if your intention isn't to do it with the most, because you could have the intention to say it and it'll be more powerful. Okay, cool. Boom, I said it. Poof. Right? I just said it. Poof. Or is your intention, I'm going to say this and it's going to command everything, And then you get into like, I'm a creator, right? And we're commanding, but then we're just here to see how it goes. And I'm not trying to create. Okay, let's back off. What was I talking about before that? Oh yeah, number 3, being vigilant, right? Yeah. Everything that you fought for, everything that you've been, and whatever people have been doing out there. Wow, don't give up now. Don't give up now. We ain't giving up. The show's over. We're just trying to get everybody closer to seeing that the show's been over. It's been the same show for, hundreds of years, arguing about everything in the world, and ain't nothing getting fixed. Sorry, that was just me speaking out loud for a second. I apologize. All right. Like, what we think we're improving because we got cell phones. Like, that's I don't know. I mean, like, the train was a okay idea. It's not like we needed it. That's what created the bubble. Now the bubble's bursting. But anyways, that's all too funny. I don't know. And then the concept of, like, with the money, if money is just if it's literally just zeros on a board, that the systems that has monies, whatever those are, if it's just numbers, I mean, they can say they got however much they got, whatever they got, how much they got, whatever they want. So I don't even understand, like, people, all the experts, all the, I've been doing this crypto thing for all of this, all of that. It's just like, everybody's just a moron. And I'm just getting to this point where I need to figure out how to explain this to them in the nicest way possible. Right? Because I am too. Like, I don't know everything, right? But it's like, taking care of a planet, that's easy. Right? Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Hopefully, get some of you guys want to come out. Who wants to come out of this deck? I'm feeling somebody wants to come out of this deck. Oh my gosh. Oh, the ego too. That was a big one that came up all the time. It's just kind of like we're so, oh my gosh, so many things came up. I can't even begin to say them the same way that I was feeling in those moments. The way the download, it's like a stamp, you get it down. It's like it imprints. It's like the way to see something, the way to understand something, the way to think about something, the way to, it's like an imprint. It just, and then you just know something, or you just understand it. And then you got to use all these words and all these ways of explaining it. And then it depends on how the person understands the things that you're talking about from their angle, because maybe they have a different appreciation for what you're talking about or something like this. So it's literally over and over, everyone trying to figure out what they already know and trying to put it in a box and say, okay, because you think of it this way, you're this type of person, you're that type of person, and put that in a box. Now we understand these types of people, right? But when you study types of people, you realize you're all different types of a person, of a being. This is why, again, we got to stop trying to understand everything, right? I know. So we literally need to teach the people by unteaching, by, like, having them understand the importance of learning nothing again. This is why, hey, shout out to, hey, thanks, that really resonates with my life, like wanting to live and experience and do everything and as much as you can, and living life in that way, with trying to talk about stuff, be happy. I was a blabby kid, everything, played sports, running around, extroverted, right? But then, like, the reverse of that, you guys know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Hey, okay, yeah, that's just funny. Right? Like, wanting to do everything because you understand the nothing or whatever, that whole, oh my gosh, like, that's why it's been so difficult. Oh, okay, right. It's because everybody knew what you were doing when you were doing it, but they didn't understand why you were doing it, because of your perception of understanding that it's nothing, which again is, in a way, and this is where it gets difficult, right? You can't explain it, no matter how much we try, but we can't. And that's why it's all about experiencing. And that's why meditation and things like that always, work. Like, because you can't force somebody to feel or experience the same thing that you experience in a meditation. You know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be different. Even if you do a meditation, somebody's throat, mind, upper or middle, heart or lower, whatever, like you're doing one chakra or something, there's the feelings are going to be similar. Like our personality traits, we all have the same personality traits. It's just to lesser or more degree. Everybody's organized, even if you're not organized the same way. You're the sloppy organizer where everything's all over the place. But if you move it, I won't know where it is. So that shows, like what they say. There was an Einstein or somebody was like that, where they said it's because he knew, you know where everything is. So it's just an easier way of accounting. Like, in a way, is the way I see it. Like instead of moving everything all the time over and over, moving them back, you already know where everything is. So you don't need to place anything because you already have it. And you like, okay, I'm just going into depth on this. I'm not done with downloading all this stuff. I'm telling you guys. Oh my gosh. And it's the fact that people need to let go, right? They really do, and just have fun again. It doesn't matter because it is what it is, and it's always going to be what it is. But the more we keep arguing about it, like what did I see? It was hilarious. I saw what was it? It was straight pride. It was cracking me up. I was dying laughing. And I wanted to share it on Facebook, but I didn't want to, trigger anybody or something. I was like, ooh, this is a good one. It said something about, it said straight pride. And it said, because we should be celebrating anything anyways, right? So why not celebrate all of it? So, it's not that we don't need things like, marriage to be okay. And no matter what, however that, whatever you're getting, but it's just, I don't know. It's constantly separatism and separating us from each other and constantly thinking, like I was watching this show and this lady, actually, I mean, I wasn't watching the show. I ate dinner and the show was on. And she was trying to get somebody in trouble by making it like a black thing, and I was just like, what the heck? That doesn't have anything to do with anything, and then they're like, yeah, but that means they'll get into more trouble, and since they're the bad guy, we want to get them in trouble and put them away for as long as we can. And I'm just like, what? I was like, no wonder this place is just weird, so it's this drama. It's some reason. And it's not like drama isn't a part of it. It's not like emotions aren't a part of it. I'm a very emotive person myself. But it's interesting to always have that perception where you're floating around, swimming around this place, and there's thoughts and there's energies and there's everywhere you go, right? It's why outside is the greatest place to be, as long as it's not inside, it's outside. Unless it's in the toxic swamp outside, you can keep that outside. I'll stay inside, but it depends how we're talking about. But yeah, so what? So growing your energy big enough so that you can influence more space with your vibration, and then keeping your vibration high enough all the time. And putting aside anything that has anything to do with your ego or you're this or you're that. How are you going to say, like, we gave you ego because they'll protect you from the place the where you're incarnating. You need an ego or whatever. But then you're going to say that we got to get rid of it. We got to tell it to shut up all the time and go away. It's just, we've already talked about the ego stuff. We got to get over this. We got to get over this separating stuff, as if your ego is some part outside of you. right? That needs to be like, again, separation. Like, no, it's not. Forget ego, forget not ego, right? And then they say ego is when ego is just that part of you that's negative. Why is it always just negative? You're just separating it all up again. Sometimes your ego says, is it ego to say I am powerful, I am, this and that or the other, and then like you're a super skinny scrawny kid or something. I mean, like, like, and you say I am strong. Is that because you have ego? Is it because you have insecurity issues? You know what I mean? Like like all of this needs to go bye bye. Every single thing, all the drama comes from everybody thinking they got issues and that everything is an issue, and that it's like watching people grow up and get older. It's like, oh, I can't run like I used to, and I can't do this like I used to. Yeah, it's because you stopped running. When was the last time you ran? Never ago. You know what I mean? Like, that's how long it's been. But you can get past that. Uh, can't we can't keep living in a world where we see people, like, for that example, where there's 80, 90-year-old people who in their fit as fiddles or whatever. They look good, they're still active, right? And then saying, oh, it's, well, I'm not because I just got old. Like, no, no more, no more, like, no more excuses. You know what I mean? This is why it ain't working, because everybody making excuses about things and blame other people and say this is what happened and that's what happened there and this what happened there. No, it's not that hard to figure out and just be honest and be the truth. And then one day, it makes you wonder why. I mean, there's a lot of pressure out there. No, there's all that pressure from everybody and everywhere. And that's what I mean by we're walking around in a thought pool. It's a pool. It's a world of thoughts. It's a world of vibrations, right? And then the most dominant, most emphasized, most passionate, most powerful vibration will usually kind of like override everyone else, right? Because you always got people like me who are over there like, yeah, I'm out. Go ahead and do all that world domination. I don't even want nothing to do with that. And I don't have the energy to keep fighting with all you guys, Like, I mean, I do, but I don't want to. I'd rather just go frolic in the forest, or something like, so it's this, it's I don't know, it's just so much bigger. Everything's so much bigger than anybody thinks about. Like little tiny lives, our little dramatic, I didn't make the football team, lives. I mean, I don't even know where to start. There's so many things for everybody to really realize. It's like, what? Get out of town. That was conspiracy theory. Right? There's no way that was true. And I don't even know where to start. It's too funny. Okay, I'll stop blabbing. I don't know. Not much of a show today, but I missed a lot of things to say, so I had to get back on. And there's going to be more. I'm planning on doing a lot more stuff coming up. I got a website, homie friend, gonna hook it up, get some marketing going. You guys can become a part of it. There's gonna be a lot of things that I'm gonna be setting up, but it's gonna take some time. I think with everything that I've wanted to take on and everything that I'm supposed to take on and everything that, right, or whatever. And all of us, all of us out there, all of us, who are awakening, or, it is just going to be more and more and more and more and more and more and more. But it's important that we're already there. It's like when Spirit says, we're going to have courses and classes. We're going to have, in the future, we're going to be able to learn all this magic and learn all the higher technologies and learn the healing and do this and that, and then you say, oh, okay, when you guys bring in that, then they're like, oh, no, we're not bringing it. You guys are going to be the one to do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, because we're the ones we've been waiting for. Right. I've been waiting for me. Right. Okay. So how do I shoot fireballs? I still don't know. I'd love to find out. How do I cast magic? How do I make it cold just so I can enjoy a fresh brew? you know, how do I make it hot so I can make sure it's fully cooked? I don't know. It's like, no, okay. I'll just imagine. I'll just imagine. Like I'm the one I've been waiting for. Yes. Yes, me. Yes. Because I alone can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, you guys are funny. Like, and if so, if the reality of that is that we're moving into this in a practical way where it's just going to be people like us, where people are just taking downloads from beings and then just trying to do stuff with it, you know. Um, but then we have to match up the science, so we have to actually measure it. Well, we need science, and we need the woo woo conspiracy spiritual community to really get together and catch up. So there's a lot of talk out there about what's coming and what's going to come and all of this technology and this and that and this and that and this and that. Well, we only got two options, and that's either they drop it like it's hot or we do, or it's like somebody either gives it to us or somehow teaches it to us. Otherwise, it's literally just us going to be making it ourselves with whatever resources we can scrounge up. And it's going to take as long as it's going to take, right? So we got two options. So if it takes 100,000 years to heal a planet, then that's how long it takes, I guess. Because when we think of that, they say, well, in the 1950s, the UFO crash Roswell, right? And so we traded technology with them and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, so just the 1950s? Like, what about, so nobody cared about this place until 1950, and then so then that's why they say, well, the story is that the timeline got jacked up in the future. So we came back to nip it in the butt, so it wouldn't happen. But then that still doesn't allude to some kind of all-knowing, all anything. And that clearly shows time does exist. So we really got to be careful with the narratives that we're listening to, you guys. Like seriously. I don't believe any of them anymore. And it's not like I don't believe them. I'm pretty sure they happen because, that's the nature of creation. It probably did happen some point, some place, some time, some whatever at this point. But, what are we going to do about it now? You know what I mean? Still, what do we, if I'm supposed to care about universes and galaxies that I don't remember anything about, I mean, then I'm not worried about that stuff. I don't need to know the timeline of the galactic nothing in order to figure out that we need to fix things here. I love us. I love us. This is not me blocking. This is not my ego, right? Even though he's here too, how's it going? Right? Hey, everybody. All this, it's all a nonsense story, just trying to trick you to think that you're bound to your tarot cards, or you're bound to astrology, or you're bound to this, or you're bound to that. There are things that you are tied to. Yes, we are tied to, right? There are things we are a part of that make us up, that we are all one, together in, right? But it's different based on what you're tied up into. So the seeking of the all, and the seeking of the oneness, and the seeking of the unity in everything, right? It goes beyond all the things we were constantly arguing about in the world, all the things that were, yeah. Checking the right side. Left side just lights me up. When I'm not in the mood, I gotta go to the gym. Keep going to the gym, guys. Go to the gym. What's that one it's on TikTok? Go to the gym. That's too funny. And then I saw the one guy, what was it, yelling at him back or something? I don't want to go to the gym. It's too funny. But keeping your vibration high, super important. Super, super, super important. and then it gets into selfish and selfless, right? I'm take care of myself because that's all you can take it, right? So we gotta ignore that stuff. It's pretty much like we got so much to explain to everybody, and the stronger you get, the easier it's gonna be. Period. Easy, simple, right? Get stronger, like a lot stronger, like because you can be infinitely stronger, like a lot stronger. Everybody, every one of us. And I don't mean just because I'm like going to the gym and I'm for, whatever, but because I'm exhaling, it's just like doing Tai Chi or just like meditating to clear your mind, or whatever, or grounding, um, just exhaling all of that, making space for the love, for what you want to bring in, for what you're making space for yourself, and so it's easy. The reason why it just makes sense, like if you go work out and then you keep at it, you're going to feel stronger, you're going to feel better, you're going to feel like you have more space. So it's a easy way to physically feel what we want to create. We want to experience it, we want to physically feel life, we actually want to do it, we want to create it, want it to be here, then go do it. And so just like go for a run, jog, treadmill, whatever, workout, lift weights, you know and you'll get stronger. You'll make more space for yourself. You're taking care of, you're giving yourself something, you know, um, whether it's meditation in the moment, you're giving something to yourself that's good for it. And it grows. So, like I said earlier, people, oh, I'm getting older and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. No, it's because it's because all of it. It's like working, and we drive to work every day. Maybe some of us sit in a cubicle, and then we get the lower back, whatever. It's because you've been sitting. It's not because you're a terrible person because you don't, like do this or do that. It's just because of the work, and we know it, and you don't like it, but it is what it is. So whatever. Um, and that's the simplicity of everything, that everybody's getting caught up in the complexity and how to figure it all out and running around, you know, and shout out to people who got the energy to do that and want to do that. Like again, this isn't, it's not about what's right or wrong, but that's the whole point is as long as you're constantly doing that because you think it's right or you think it's wrong or you this or that, there's a difference between when it's received by you and you do it naturally and you respond naturally and you become aware and it piques your awareness and you go, oh, let's give this love in this situation, let's make sure this goes smooth, versus this is how you're supposed to give love, so I'm going to do this, right? And then the other person who receives it doesn't react the way you want it to, right? There's a subtlety. Excuse me. A subtle, what's the word, nuance or sensation, it's atmospheric, that we create with, it's that we create from. Thank you. The creation comes from the consciousness. We all want to see it physical, but we have to create it up here first. It's why you're tied to what you're tied to, whatever it is because it's what you thought of to create, to come, to be a part of, to connect with first. Why you ended up where you ended up and not elsewhere. Why people say, why does some people grow up with the greatest minds poor, some people grow up greatest minds rich, some people, if you're a great being, if we are great beings, powerful beings, why are we all manifesting ourselves into 80% of the population is under, wages, right? Well, that's not us manifesting into that because of how powerful creators we are. That's because of this game. And that's just the numbers. And it doesn't matter where you fall. If you're here to bring truth and love and light, then that's what's going to happen. Truth isn't about being sensational. It's not being about picking something that people resonate with and then just going with it in order to make yourself more credible. Everybody wants to know, and they forget to look at themselves, because you are already complete and you are already whole, exactly as you are. There's nothing that needs to be fixed, but you don't see that when you see yourself. Most people, too many people. And in order to do so, you gotta let everything else go. All of it. Needing to be right, needing to go to church on Sundays because now you ain't listening to God, or God don't, right? Because he's always going to punish you. You got to remember that. Don't forget, he's all loving, but he'll send you to hell like that. You better not cross him. I don't need none of that, right? Count Michael out. Like, count me out of all of it. But that's what makes me want to be a part of it all, because I have everything to bring to it by bringing absolutely nothing. Right? The world is so interesting when you just realize that it's everybody playing with life in their own heads, or in their own way, in their own body, in their own being, in their own mind. And there's certain things you can do to connect to the soul, versus just the person that's standing in front of you, and that's the telepathy, the telepathic communication, like we all have. But we have to be sensitive to it. And you can't, and in the beginning it's tough because we were trying to figure it out, like we always try to figure everything out, right? So we get a glimpse of it, or we learn a little bit about it, and then we latch onto that, and then we go, okay, this is what I'm looking for. This is. So it's important to not overthink that it's something that it isn't, because of what you've only known so far. And this is the whole point, that everybody's trying to know. We're never going to know everything. There's always more to know. There's always more. It's kind of like saying we're evolving as a species, but then not evolving whatsoever at all, because we keep doing the same things over and over. And we already have How to Live written down in the book on how to live, howtobeahuman.com. You know what I mean? Like, so why would you ever need to do anything ever different, right? How long have we had that? How many peoples even just on this planet have been fighting over and over and over and over and over and over? But we say now we're in this great awakening time. It's like, yeah, we've always been awakening, because we wouldn't be here versus the dark ages if there wasn't more and more people waking up. And if it's as simple as people just thinking, oh, hurting people is bad, we need more people on earth that don't want to hurt people. Well, let's go. I want to snap my fingers. Then we got to start teaching each other to be nice. I don't know. And it's the difference. You're either playing the game, or you're not, or you're just watching them run around. Either you're trying to be number one. That's what it is. You're either playing the game, right? Because you're trying to understand everything. You're trying to get in front of everything. You're trying to make the money, or get the fame, or get to this. So, and the only people who are playing that game are those people who keep playing that game. Like, I'm over here watching them, and it's like, It only exists over there. And when they keep playing it, you know. But like I don't like it, and but we're here together, oneness, right? So we're bound. We're bound for this. There's going to be a great understanding for all of humanity once it's complete for them, or and once we, if we move on to our mortal coils here, they say, everything will be revealed. You'll understand it all. So don't rush to some finish line because it keeps going anyways. And then you're going to wish you came back and did a little more this way or a little more that way, which is not what I'm saying. I feel like I'm just, maybe people are out there. I don't know. I could literally talk in a million different directions that aren't even mine. But it all comes from what I see, so I gotta, it's so much fun. It's so much fun to be just living and expressing ourselves and just talking. We forgot the subtlety. Remember when you were a kid and you're just happy to wake up in the morning? Like every day, you're just happy to get up. You're like, because you knew you're gonna play, or you knew you could do something fun, or you knew you're gonna whatever. Like you had, because you had energy. Not even that, because it was the awe of life. It was still amazing. You woke up and said, "Oh, what's gonna happen today? Anything could happen. Something I've never done before." And even as a kid, you played every day for 5 years, from 5 to 10. Whatever, same thing every time, same thing. Your friends, same friends, maybe come, some swap out, some come, some go, but it's like we all of a sudden that disappears when we get old. Like this there's such a trap out there in them, and it's all energetic, that everybody needs to recognize. This is why energy is everything. We got to start talking about energy all the time. It's like I heard somebody say about the tree huggers, or something recently. I was talking with some guy. Yeah, I remember now. And he's like, I mean, I'm not a hippie tree hugger, I started cracking up. I'm like, no, I get it. I'm not a hippie tree hugger either, but you do know that they're living things, right? Like they're alive. They're more alive than your non-hippie room with walls of dead wood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't care what we call it, you know what I mean? But it's like, I'm not walking around just hugging all these trees all the time, but I will put my hands on them, stuff like that. I didn't get into all of it, something like that, but it was just funny. Like, everybody's choosing the reality, and we all think that we know why. We all think that we know the best thing, or we know what's right, or we know what's wrong. And then we got to stop trying to be right or wrong. You just have to do what you want to do. And that's it. Like, I mean, can you say like violence is wrong? I mean, like, yeah, like it's a statement. It makes sense. It's a statement. It's generally correct. Okay. Except for those rare occasions, but we gotta, it's I don't know, it's like the ego again, right? It's getting past it all. It's like you have to take yourself out of the equation, otherwise you're playing this game all the time where everybody's just right and wrong. What's the truth, what's not the truth? Like the truth is just it's apparent. It's in, I think what I've always had or been good at is the now moment. That's why I got into Tai Chi and meditation. Maybe when I was a kid, I played baseball, so there was always, and I used to love to pitch, catch, whatever, and then I'd always bat third or fourth. Of course, it was like little league to but something about that moment, the ball's coming in so fast, and the older you get, faster and faster. And you got to know to swing or not. You got to have your reaction. Like it's like you have to be fast to hit it, but you have to be extremely slow, right? In your perception of what's around you, which means you're vibrating extremely fast so that everything else around you is going slower. And so, on a fastball, 90-mile-an-hour fastball, which, we're kids, we didn't throw, it's like teenager, we didn't get up to 90s mile an hour, nothing like that, but faster and faster. And it was just one of those things like, I don't know, it's now moment, and that's what everybody needs to get to where, because that's where you see it. It's being able to be aware in all situations of all things, you know, that you possibly can. And it's not like all things, like, but you, like I said earlier, like we're walking around and there's thoughts. We're swimming in thoughts all the time around us. Anytime you go around, even like right now, like my neighbors or something, you know what I mean? I can feel the thoughts off of them if I pay attention to it. I try not to you know, do things like that anyways, but you can feel like, how you feel the room change, and, somewhere it's like, I can feel the other room change, It's like, I'm not in it. It doesn't happen often. Like I said, I don't, focus on it, but that's what it comes down to a lot of times too. So are you focused on that stuff? Are you focused on everything else everybody else is doing outside you, or focused on this, focused on that, or are you just focused on inside again? Right. So we want to be aware, but then unaffected. So you're aware of it, but then you're aware of yourself also. And then we're choosing what to do in the situation. Like I think I saw, right? Like I saw protests or something. They were showing, it was like history, some protests, and there was like one group yelling at another group. They were just sitting there like in the street, and they was looking at each other. One group, rah, rah, another group, rah, 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 another group, rah, 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 and then the rah, 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 rah. They're just arguing back and forth. And I was like, this is why protests don't work, because nobody's getting anywhere. They're just arguing with each other, So it's like, oh, I don't know. There's so many truths. I need to write a book of truth. Shut up and let it go. Rule number 1, like, seriously, I don't know how else to explain it. It doesn't mean we don't care about, like, it's like, oh, he didn't go to class today. So, your kid is fine. So what? He needed to ditch a day. Leave him alone. Leave her alone. He needed a mental health day. Okay. But he can't tell you that as a parent, because if they tell you, I need a mental health day, then you're going to start talking to the school shrink, or you go to the school health department, going to call the principal. Like, this is the problem. Stop worrying about everything. Damn. Right. Like, and that's such a, the control of life. Like, we all ain't making it out anyways. Right? You don't know when it's going to happen. The now moment. It's about right now, being in the now moment and living it, and just saying what you say and moving forward, and not worrying about what anything else and everybody else is going through in their own, and that's because that comes from wanting to help. That's why I talk about all this stuff, right? Because I've always wanted to help. I've always been explaining things like this, like in the, and I've gotten all the different responses from people throughout, and it's changed with people throughout, but it's just like, that's what'll make you get all caught up in what they're doing, and then if you can see it, it's just like anything. You see the pattern, and then you try to tell them, but they can't see the pattern. So it's just back again. It's full circle. It's the same as anything, it's all the fancy smancy talk out there, hyper star-spangled spiritual stuff that's coming out. It's really not. I hate to say it. Sorry, not sorry. It's really not. Like I said about drama, it's really not dramatic, but because it's not, and we need to understand how to not be so affected and triggered and right by it, so that we can play again and act like it is. But it's because we can't play right that we're not allowed to do it, because you're not acting like it. You're not acting like it is. You truly believe it is, and you're crying on the floor. It's like, he forgot it was a game. It's like, I didn't mean that, bro. I was just saying. It's like kids. You start being Batman and, play cops and robbers or something, and you grab their arm and I don't know, and go around the back and, oh, you hurt me. And now he's going to go cry to mom and the whole game's ruined, because he's crying, forgot it was just a game. You see what I'm saying? It's, I don't know how to explain this stuff. Like, I mean, I do. I'm really good at it, but again, I gotta be in the right mode, right? I gotta be having a dialogue, right? This is how this stuff comes to us, right? It's because we're talking. It's how things come to us, right? I don't know. Everybody's got, all the psychologists got a special way of saying what's coming to you and how's it coming to you. This comes to us. You say you heard the tree tell you, yeah, it sounded like it came from the tree. We just, okay, right? And then that seagull said, shut the fuck up because you're being smart, Alec, and I'm just talking about trees. You need to leave me alone. It's like everybody's trying to tell everybody what everything is, and the only reason they're trying to do it is because capitalism. I didn't want to say all that, but I was talking about that earlier. The capitalism. Listen, I got it. Capitalism's great. You know what I mean? Whatever. How about abundancism? Like I said earlier, let's do abundancism. We don't need this, because capitalism capitalism is the reason why we got 30,000 types of toothpaste and makeups, and we got 12 different milk companies, whatever, and it all just comes from the cows. I mean, but it's like my milk's better than your milk, right? And everybody's hooked on what's shiny and looks good and what's not. Like, I'm the same way. I buy the packages that are wrapped that look pretty. I buy pretty colors. Like, I'm the same way. I know what I'm talking about here. I'm not blaming none of us, because I do too. But it's like, and again, like, is it better than other ones? Sure. But I'd like to think that we put it all together and we come up with one that uses all of the good things, like it's like, I was joking with Spirit, or I was joking with the negative side earlier, and I was like, oh, so now you're gonna try to survive by now putting out there that, oh, in order to be truly evolved, we have to integrate the light side and the dark side, which it's true, you know what I mean? But I was just teasing him, I was like, oh, so this how, and then he just like, we all always survive, like, no matter what it is and no matter how. And then we got into this whole thing. It was funny where it's a dependency on each other, but the complete independence because of the reflection of each other. So it's literally what life is like. This is what we're doing all the time. Like, did I manifest this? No. But then now, did you guys see the double? It just showed up again, and I'm cool. I thought it was awesome. I think it's cool that I'm happy that it's coming out again. Hopefully it's going viral or whatever now. But it was on TikTok, and where they explained the double slit theory. It says theory. It's not really a theory. They proved it with the experiment, the double slit experiment. So for those of you who don't know, so it basically proves that if we see something, that observing something makes it turn into physical matter, as opposed to the wavelength form that it was. It's really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, or if you guys don't know, look up the double slit experiment. Look up the experiment so you get the, but it's the same thing as how they say, if a bear goes in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, did it really happen? And it's interesting. And it's not that it's not happening, but it's that basically the experiment showed that if energy and light is a wave form, that until it's viewed, it doesn't become solid. So it's still out there and it's still happening, but what we view. So then it makes you think about, well, what am I creating that I'm viewing? What are my intentions on what I get to view in this movie? Because remember, we're using our senses. So it's not, right. And of course, we need to use all of our senses and our other senses, but these are the limited senses. These are the ones we work with, which we can see and hear. So if we, for example, knew all of our other senses, would be able to then use this physical for only its purpose and still be aware of, anything else. But yeah, it was cool. Check out the double slit. Let me hop over here. Hey guys, group hugs. Hey Desiree, how are you? Good to see you. Purple and gold mist begins to see body forms from it. Facts don't care about your feelings. That's funny. Yeah, exactly. Cursed. What's up? Yeah, let them and stay in your truth. It's an experiment. Yep. Forward. Yep. Yeah, gratitude. Yeah. Hey, Curse. Nice to have you, Curse. You sound a lot like my mind sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. This is how we all talk when we're all talking together. Anyway, yeah, no, that's cool. I like that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It totally is an experiment. Yeah, Buddha said that whole thing too. Thoughts create reality, perception, control, all that kind of stuff. I mean, in his own way and in the distorted ways that the book then, you know what I mean? It's why you got to learn from the teacher. It's why we have to do this and learn from each other and not do or whatever. That's why they say the master, you got to get the download from the master, but we can connect to this. There's a lot to connect to, right? So the idea being that all the problems, like they're non-issues, when we're all focused, when we're all, when you're focused and you're strong, it doesn't, none of this stuff matters. Excuse me. Get some water. And then I did a whole room of sage before this too, so I'm probably sucking in all the sage. Try to keep the window open for a little while. Hugs. I was looking at a tree that was confused what season it was. Oh my God, you're awesome. That was hilarious. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's a learning curve, right? What's going on with this weather, yo? People, we keep talking about like we care. What is it? I don't even know what the trees feel like, man. They're feeling it. They're we just put on a sweater or something, or or a poncho because it's downpouring. Oh man, it's too funny. Love burns. Yeah, I mean, if it can. It just depends on, it's the more unity you understand, the more it always will. I don't think, it's why I say about like not having emotion at all, but then it's like the Tao Te Ching where it says, take little things with great importance, right? And then it shows your attention to detail, your attention to the nuance, your attention to, the things in your immediate surrounding that are often all the time, but they're little because you're there, you manage them. Take care of those things well, or take those things with like more concern, and then take bigger issues with a lesser, with a grain of salt. Look at the big issues, without that much, caring about them. It's the whole thing of life. What's the truth? The truth isn't black and white, right? The truth is somewhere in the middle. The truth is where you're at right now and what you're doing and what you're feeling. It's like learning anything. The truth is that I don't know what, algebra. Why? Because I'm 5 years old. You know what I mean? I know how to count to 10. So what's the truth? If somebody walked up to me and was like, yo, A plus B equals 10 minus C equals over Y, and then you'd be like, no, for real. And I'm like, I'd be like, no, no, I don't know, right? Or we got to take somebody else's truth, into consideration. Like, the only truth, and it's not selfish, it's not mean, it's not selfless, it's not like if you don't listen to them, it's all just a matrix. It's all a matrix. It's all just a matrix. It's all a game, and it's all programmable, and we can understand all the programs. This is where all the seeing of the patterns comes from, right? You see the pattern and you go, oh, I shouldn't do that again, and you do it again, and then the same thing happened again. You're like, dang, I thought it was going to be different this time, because Spirit said if I believe that it'll be different this time, it'll be different this time, but it wasn't different this time again. Right? So at the very least, something's going on, and the kind of help we're getting isn't the kind of help we think we want, and the help we're getting really. I mean, we can get into all this stuff, but then it is. Don't let me take you all the way over there. I can just feel it. It's in here. I'm not going to explain that. I can't do that right now. Just take my word for it, because it's all connected. It's all love. It's all the same. But it's like, how can it be so beautiful and amazing and so passionate, so full of life? How can life have so much love and so much joy and happiness in it, but then have completely opposite stuff in it? Like, it's all already here, man. It's all up to you, right? And we don't need a religion to explain it to us. We don't need a politician to tell us what's what. We don't need a monetary system that's going to fix all monetary systems. You know what I mean? Like, anything, let's get rid of them. But like I say, there is one. The abundanceism, like I say. But the idea of the truth, people don't know the truth because they don't recognize the truth, because they don't know the truth within themselves, because they're not slowing down to that 0 point moment and recognizing what's really happening, what I mean? Without input, without an opinion, without a bias, without pressure, without preconceived notions, without right. And what else was I going to say? I lost the first part going. Anyways, all that life is, right? It's all up to people. It's all up to you. And truth. Was it the truth? Yeah. Is it in the truth? Right. The people forget the truth because they don't know how to listen to the truth. They're listening to somebody else tell them what the truth is. And that's all you need to know right there. That's the difference. You can feel it. You can sense it. You can see it. And you can hear it. And you can once you get sensitive, I guess, whatever. It's all already, like, I can spot a liar from a mile away. Like, it's so easy to do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that I'll get it right every time. I'm sure it might miss one or two, but it's pretty obvious. like all the way down to the tone of their voice. That's all you need to hear is the way they said it, and it's just like, no. Right? But am I supposed to believe that because I'm a creator and I'm supposed to bring love and light and I'm supposed to show them that it's okay to be honest? And I'm going to tell them that it's okay to be honest by telling them that they're lying. Yes. Okay. So how are we supposed to do all of this stuff here? So if they can't hear it themselves and they don't have the ears to hear or the eyes to see, the blah, 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 well, then how am I supposed to put them ears on them when none of this works, when we take what someone else said, or, and we can, obviously we're all sharing and it's all just information. So you take what you take, it doesn't matter who said it, but everybody's trying to own it like it's mine. I said it first. Like this, there's way too much that people allow that keeps things messed up. Like, it's still skewed going in the wrong direction, but people are still thinking it's normal. And that's what's got to stop. That old ass mentality where it's like, oh, well, what can we do? I'm just little old me. And, and yeah, it's true. Like, you can only do so much as one being. That's true. But it's like, this whole, like, I don't know, that old mentality, like, well, might as well give up on life because there's nothing we can do. And it's like, yeah, that's going to get us out of here a lot quicker, I guess, and not the way you wanted to go. But that's I can't do that. I didn't come here to do that, to give up on humanity or love or whatever, and I don't care what anybody's gonna say about it. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. That's all we're doing, right? That's all we're trying to do down here. All right, where am I going? Whew, E equals MC squared. Unless, what's the meme? I love it. E equals, or it says you matter unless you squared or something. Because then, no, I can't think of it. You guys know, I have to look it up now. I love that meme. It's too funny. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of sound, then you matter. Or yeah, E equals MC squared. Or unless you divide by the speed of sound, then you matter. I forget. It's funny. All different from the mirrorverse. And no, we're all just mirroring our own. Well, your perception of reality has to do with where you're sitting in space-time, where you exist and why you exist there. Right? Because if we all know that we have aspects of ourselves that exist in infinite spaces of love and light, well, we also know that we can project and at least physically show up here, let's just to call it that. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more. It doesn't, it's not about just being, I'm from this planet or that planet, or whatever. It's like, listen, we've had hundreds of names. Okay. Everybody wants to know their name, but then spirit, right? They say, well, they don't even use names because it's vibrational. Okay. So which one is it? You know what I mean? This is how much it doesn't matter, guys. Like, but it's cool because you could pick a name and then we'll call you that name. That way we can identify you. It's great. Go ahead. Pick one. Don't care. If they know your name, they have power. No, they don't. Afraid not, because they don't know my true name. You know what I mean? Like Michael. So if I tell you guys like my name's Michael, like that means you guys are gonna have power over me now. Like I've already talked with this. Do you know what I mean? This is what I do. This is why I have to make my shows, because I'm already talking with spirit all the time, right? We all have been our whole lives. We're talking with our own consciousness. We're talking with other people's consciousness, talking with the great grand super duper consciousness, right? And we're talking, but all it is states of perception. What is God but a state of perception from, and what we call it, the one sort of called source. Okay, source, right? It's the all perception, all the things, right? But it's just a perception. What's after that? Right? What's and but we're all one. Okay, but we all have different perceptions. So it's, where are you going with this? What are you doing with this? Finding out your path, your mission, who you are. This and this has to do with, wow, how does my body feel? Who are my ancestors? This is why ancestry, these things, your DNA, the blood, right? What is this physical makeup? What can I do with this physical makeup, right? And that's what you're eventually learning, how to control this, how to, what is Sadhi Guru? He said that. Have you read the book, right? All the things out there to learn, but have you read the book on how the body functions, what a third eye is? Have you read what's in your body and how to use it? And where it and all the and all this stuff. And I thought that was awesome the way he said that. It's just like, right, because everybody's got something to say, but everybody's trying to discredit everybody. Oh, this person's wrong, that person's wrong. Oh, like dude, even a serial person, meanie, hurtful, violent person, right? Even they could say something that like is wise. Like, but for some reason we live in this world where everybody's like, no, now you need to ignore everything he ever said because, the one, and it's like, nobody knows how to learn nothing when they do it that way. We got to stop this labeling, this separating this, and it's all for this perception of a safer world and safer society so that you're safe from your neighbors who are bad, or this is how we make sure our community is safe. And it's like, no, you make sure the community is safe by putting up walls, grabbing the spears. And then if anybody wants to say something, you let them say it so they get it out of off their chest, and they get it out. And then you take care of them. Even if 99% of you think they're nuts, you say, okay, you don't exclude them from society. That's exactly how it happened. Not unless they're primarily violent and that's all they're doing, you know what I mean? But these types of things, like it's we could fix a lot of these problems. All the problems we got is because we're doing it wrong. We keep, and again, not to say it's right or wrong, but I mean, like, the money, and we got homeless people, and we got this, and we got that, we got, like, it's obvious. It's obvious. It's not because something's wrong with you. It's not because something's wrong with, like, all of this stuff. It's like, just keep living and doing the best that you can do for yourself. If you do at least that, right, you're going to make it a better place to live in. You know what I mean? And I don't mean in a selfish way, don't hurt other people to get farther ahead, obviously. But, if you take care of yourself and you learn how to do that and you learn how to live a life of peace, you've won, like that's winning. And yeah, and then you can show other people how to do it too, Yeah. Yeah, there isn't room for belief. Yeah, it's not really belief or anything. Yeah. Was that going back to what I was saying with the guy? Yeah, yeah. Oh, thanks, Cursed. I appreciate it. Yep. Oh, I got everything to say to anybody and everybody. I'm an old soul. Just saying. So I'm getting revved up. As much as I want to be out there more, I really don't care to be out there more. But then I really want to be out there more. But I just, I want to do it when the world's ready. I really hope the world's ready for that. I'm going to poop on all their plans. You know what I mean? Sorry, I don't know what else to say. I wanted to say it was not the poop word, but, like, it's light, dark, this and that, ego. This is like, no, it's all of that needs to stop. And everybody's getting caught up in these stories. It's like the idea of worshiping, like worship, right? I say this all the time. You don't want to worship me, but it's like, like Ashtar, shout out Ashtar, right? Is he good or is he bad? And it's like, well, listen, good and bad changes all the time. We can always choose good or bad. What is Ashtar? A person. We got to stop saying like this angel, that archangel, this being, that being is only this thing, and like worshiping these people, you know what I'm saying? But to know them is to just know them. And they're just like us beings, like they're, you know what I mean? And most of them are choosing the light now. I would say most of the ones that ever had a iffiness or ever maybe even did things bad in the past, you know what I mean? A lot of them are, now on the side of good because they've realized how we've realized here, you know what I mean? Because this is what I say all the time. Like how many geniuses, how many light beings does it take that have to incarnate on Earth so that we can get the message out that this is not a good idea. Violence isn't good. We shouldn't be hurting each other. War isn't good. Like, it doesn't matter how you think it does. You're wrong. It doesn't. Over time, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, period. Like, if you're wrong in that aspect. It might temporarily, whatever. You might win. You might feel good about yourself. You might get a lot of stuff. But you hurt a lot of people in the long run. And once you realize that that's your family and your friends, it's going to hurt you too, one way or another. And it's going to hurt twice as bad, minimum, because, you're going to have to deal with both of it. You're going to have to deal with the kickback and the karma for doing it. And again, karma, what's karma? Don't care, right? We get into this conversation. I've talked about karma a bunch of times on, that's why I like making these videos, you know what I mean? It's because it shows my progression, just in talking about this stuff, just in learning to articulate it more and better, and being able to have so many different ways that I've articulated it, being fresh greenhorn YouTube channel, my first videos, but totally feeling it, totally vibing, totally nailing it, right? Because I was in it. It's the beginning of it. It was like I was excited about it, and then you go through all the stages of it all, and then you realize like it always just comes back full circle. And that's what I've been saying this whole entire time. And as the world changes, the way I say it and things I talk about change a little bit, even though it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what universe you're on. The only differences in other places and universes and galaxies are the mathematics. The only differences are the wavelengths. The only differences are the shapes and the forms that it has. But there's life. Excuse me. There's life, and then there's death. There's life, life giving and anti life giving things, and that's pretty much, as long as we're in a dualistic reality, that's how it's got to be, and that's how it maintains balance, and that's how it's able to exist by itself, so that it can be monitored from afar. Otherwise, you have to be the constant controller and creator. Like, we all want to create, we all want to be able to do this, do that, but that means you have to be responsible all the time. You have to constantly be creating in a forward direction. And if, like if we got all our powers back and we just thought stuff and we could create it, well, how many people would create messed up things, like scary, or whatever things, which again, it's not like this is the place. They say we came here. If we gave you instant manifestation, you'd blow up the world. And I say, well, yeah, because we never had that down here. So why would you give that to we? That's not a thing for us down here. Like, quit telling us, making excuses why we can't have our powers back because we'd abuse them. No, we wouldn't. If somebody would have taught me how to do it right, like, so this is how we learn how to. Right. So I got to learn that I could think about all this stuff and it doesn't happen. Right. Like, if I picture the earth blowing up, shout out, hey, they're with me. Don't worry, guys. I'm not going to do. Right. But it's like, is it going to happen? No, I hope not. Why? Because there's a lot of other beings that are okay. So what are we here to learn how to do? Are we really trying to be creators? Or are we just like creators within? Right. So we're literally studying how to do it in places like this, with this kind of limited consciousness. This is basically, it's one big game, and we're just figuring out how to play the game. You're playing on easy and you beat it easy, and then you played it on normal, and then you played it on hard, and then it got really hard when you played it on hard, because on hard mode there was less resources and less extra lives, and these things, so it was a lot harder to play, right? So, like I say, I'm just waiting, like it's still Groundhog's Day for, a lot of us down here, but it's not at the same time. It's completely not. That's why it's so awesome, because the world is waking up tremendously fast, right? This is still happening. This we know, like, oh my gosh, but they need to be faster. They need to be. All right, we got to get them to the point where they're past the star spangled awesomeness of it, because that is one thing that annoys me. But like, I'm happy for it, but it annoys me that there's so many different like channeling courses and people and this, like popping up, and then I think, well, why? Is because I want to do one for myself too and tell them how to do it the right way. I'm just like, yeah, that's how it is. Like, that's why I say, but that's me doing the same thing, right? So I want to do something different. Well, what do I do? I don't know. I want, but because I'm so happy that people are doing that. Like, every time I see somebody doing that, that's like another person who's waking up. Like, I'm happy overall in general all the time. Like, no matter, if it's like, so it's so funny. But then I think, like, how can we get people further along? And then I think, well, look at how many books have already been written. People have already written tons of books. People have already made tons of YouTube channels. They've already done tons of courses. All this stuff's already been done for a really long time. So like I said, so is it only for those who incarnate and then see it? And then what? We have to, we have to convince everybody else later in life somehow, or whatever. Or we have to create the schools and then get funding, right, from our state and local governments, right? There's going to be courses on all this stuff. Are there really? I mean, I think it's just going to be us doing it, like, at this point, which is great. That's really grassroots, and that's where I want to see it come from, honestly, But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. All right, let's pull a card real quick here. I'm gonna bust out Odin. And I got the Archangel deck, which is Interesting. It's really saying something to me right now. So I want to see what energy wants to come out from it. Excuse me. Can't know the truth if you don't know self-love. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Acceptance of all starts with accepting yourself. Yeah, forward is the path. Right, right. Love isn't what we think it is. Right. It doesn't mean that it has to be the passionate like love. I've fallen in love and no love. No, love is cool. You know what I mean? That makes sense. Like love is chill. Love knows what love is doing. Love offers its assistance when it can and pulls it back when it knows it shouldn't. You know, or gives to yourself and gives to others. Love gives as much as it can. Realistic. Love isn't this, dramatic, passionate thing. Again, the movies, hello, if we don't realize we're watching movies and they're not real, guys, remember movies, not real. It's not real life, But like I said, no, I talk about that all the time. But that's what we want to do. We want to live as if we're in a movie. And the reality is we are, but we forgot how to play together. Where everybody's scared, everybody's mad, everybody's arguing, everybody, you know, like I don't know. So like it's the funniest thing. People who I've known my whole life, lots of people all over talking about freedom, and then the jabby jabs came out, and then they were all like, "You better get it, otherwise you're gonna kill all of us." And I was like, "I thought you were about freedom." And they're like, and that, but it crossed that line where, yeah, but you're gonna kill us all. So how is that? We're not gonna be here to live. We're not gonna have any freedom or anything, or not even not freedom, And it's just like, what are you talking? What happened? What's going on with you right now? Freedom, freedom, freedom. Right? It's like, go away. Don't tell me to do nothing. Get out of my face. I love you. Right? That's what you gotta say. That's literally it right there. That's what we gotta tell everybody. Get out of my face. I love you. Right? Forward is bad. Love must be the direction. Yeah, love all is self. Yeah. Yeah, law of truth never loses. Because it don't need to, right. It's just like, it's cool. It's chill. Well, what did I say? It was just like that. It doesn't need to prove itself. It's just wait. It just sits there and goes, all right, well, whenever you want to figure it out. Well, we're going to be over here by the swing set, by the bench. Y'all keep swinging. I don't know, I'm thinking of kids at a park or something. I don't know. Parent, we're going to be over here. Right. And that's why it's important to figure out what you want to put your energy into. Like the kids on the playground. Because we all need something to go do, or to that fire. Need that. So then you just go and find something you love. Instead of jumping into the crazy, playground area where there's, all these people and they're running around chickens with their heads cut off, You get older, you start to say, we're going to go here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I have Frank George. Yeah, I can sense your energy, Cursed. Everyone has a different energy in the list. So I've always been able to do that, and I thought it was normal. Excuse me. And of course, with practice, you can learn it more and more. But I've always had an inherent, like just your icons have their own personalities. And I don't mean like because you picked that picture. The picture tells the picture tells more of the human story. You know what I mean? But your icon alone they all have different energies. It's always been like that for me. It's always been because like everybody, so we're all, different, but we're all the same, all, this and that. Everybody has a slightly unique signature to them that's slightly different, right? Because of all the things all the patterns that I keep seeing that are all the same, that I'm always saying, you know, there's people that have, or, there's subtle differences, very, very subtle differences. So you could have like two people who totally agree on like same person, like total mirror image of each other, like twinsies from another mother's, or whatever. But there'll be a subtle, it's just, I don't, it's easy to tell, you know what I mean? After a while you get used to it. So it's more difficult, like through messaging and stuff like that, but I wouldn't call it difficult. It's just different, has a different feeling. Um, and typically I don't like to just dive in to people and what is it, like invade their energy, so I typically don't um, do stuff like that. If there's anything more to do with that, like, you know what I mean? Like I could probably tune into somebody, if they're really sad and I'd start crying, you know what I mean? Or something like that. But I tend not to want to do like that. It'd be cool to be able to do. I think we all think it's cool to be able to do that, but that's also something that you shouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, we want to be able to. I want to be able to sense how you guys feel. That'd be so cool for me. But that means that now you're real. It's because it's real. You're now someone's coming into your energy field, and unless we know each other, I wouldn't necessarily want you guys to have to do that with me, or I wouldn't want to do that with you guys. It's the whole concept, like it's real. It's not right, like sensing energy. It's we don't see it. You know what I'm saying. I'm trying to think back how I've explained that before, but yeah, I can always sense beings cursed. Cursed, if you're new, you got a lot to catch up on. At least getting to know me here, but I do things unorthodoxly. Don't expect this to look organized or like I'm some spiritual professional. I already am, but I'm not trying to make it apparent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I do everything unorthodox. Everything. It's in my chart. You can check it out. uh, but and that's what my chart is too. It's finding all the epiphanies through ways that nobody, like, I'll just say something and it'll make sense, but nobody will know how I got there, and that's why I say with my videos, that's why I have to catch myself, and I have to try and repeat these downloads that I get as best I can. I mean, I do, right? That's what we do. Okay. Yeah, I know. There's a lot. Okay, there's a lot of human stuff that we grow up with before any of y'all ever tell us anything about anything. It's interesting to think, like, there's so many of us waking up right now, whatever, and we've always felt like we've been awake, but we had no clue. We still didn't have a clue. You know what I mean? You throw me a freaking bone down here. It's too funny. So wait, you wanted us to figure this out? When? Yeah, well, listen, I don't like this game. Don't play with me. When am I supposed to figure out? I wanted to know right off the bat. I already knew. I know. And why it didn't work out then? We're still here. Why am I still going through the same stuff that I was talking about when I was 5 years old? And not 5, maybe like 8 or something like that for me. But, I think I was 5 when I did the Lutheran thing, when I asked Mom, why are we Lutheran? And I told you guys the story. And I basically said, oh, okay. Everybody's just figuring out for themselves. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, according to, have you heard of the 22 trillion times per second that we're leaving and coming back? The universe destroys and recreates itself 22 trillion times per second. And if you think about how everything we see is really just frames, like on a movie, we can watch an entire movie and think it's smooth, and it's not. It only needs to be 29 frames, 30 frames per second to trick our eyes into thinking that any of this is actually solid right now, that we're not blinking in and out. Right now, if our eyes were capable, like a camcorder or something, we'd be able to frame by frame life, right? If our eyes were more high speed camera, high definition camera. So yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of theories on that, but yeah, it's why it's why things happen. I don't even get into it. You know how like that one dude who was riding the bike appears out of nowhere in the one video or whatever, that old school one where they're saying ghosts are real or like time travel exists, and like there's nobody behind the guy, and then all of a sudden the guy on a bike shows up, right? Like old timer dude, old, and all of those types of things. It's because it's frame by frame. We're living. It's constantly stitching. We're light weavers, right? It's like the idea of the reason why we get pain or something, right, is because for a very long number of blinks, this hand has been like normal hand. But if I punch it, right, if I make an indent now where I push in and it goes too far, now it's going to register as pain because it had to move. Like I'm not even going to try to explain it because I have to look it all up again. But there's somebody out there who's talking about all that stuff. But that's just an aside note, a side observation from it. Right. That's the whole thing. You're part of the duality, but you are part of the collective also at the same time. We all are. Right. I don't care about the duality, but I love the duality because it's the duality that lets me play. It's the fact that I can say one thing and then completely just say the opposite and then laugh about it or something, or you guys laugh at me or what I say, or you got, it's like when I moved out to where I'm at now, it's a lot drier atmosphere. So I said to family one time, we were having dinner, and I said, it's the water's drier out here, than it is that I'm used to. And they said, and then there was a pause, and then they started busting up, laughing because of how is water dry, and I mean, it's hilarious. Like, like duality is supposed to be a great thing, right? But then we also have to appreciate the creation of duality itself. And in order to do that, you got to leave the duality, right? You got to exit the matrix, get out of the equation. And so that's why it's learning how to create an equation. And the reality is it's not that hard. The problem is everybody thinks they don't know. Everybody thinks they have to go to school to figure it out. Or they think they got to study something for 20 years in order to figure it out, and you don't. You just don't. It's not that hard. Like, I mean, does it take time? Sure. Like if we were to really do this right, we'd have to take the time. Science has to catch up with the new technologies. What I mean? We have to be released. Not like it's not caught up, whatever words, but yeah, like it'll take time, and we got to do it. And that's why it's up to us making these videos or making diagrams or courses or class or just, that's why I've been doing this for 4 years, just blabbing about random stuff all the time. It started with channeling all the beings because of the energy. And I'm back all the way around to the fact that it's just energy all over again. So I've been saying from the beginning, it's why I started this. It's because I had a eureka moment, right? One that have always known, but that I was like, okay, now I can explain this to people because it's every single thing all the time. And I could have explained it before. I've been explaining it my whole life, but I felt like with the spiritual coming in, the Kung Fu, the Tai Chi, the science, and the timing right now, everything blowing up. I mean, it's like it was just meant to be perfectly on my plan. My plan is going perfectly. My master plan of uniting the clans. Really. And a lot of people still fight in duality. Those who have gone beyond the way you become says. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. We are all already ascended beings, but we forgot. So what does that imply? A lot of times we forget the little things, like we forget that we forgot. So it's like you're perfect. You're perfectly made, perfectly how you're supposed to perfectly be. That's what we forgot. We keep thinking we're not because we're constantly told we're not. And the only place that's telling us we're not is this place, which I don't even like its rules anyways. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not listening. I've never been listening to this place, but everybody keeps trying to force it at me. It's too funny. Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. Perception cannot perceive its own death. Yeah. Blow up Earth will just be redirected to another multiverse. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. 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 People trying to maintain. If you're trying to maintain, what are you doing? Right, right. I'm not the enemy either. Well, that's I mean. Oh yeah, I'm. It's funny. You got a lot to say, Kirst. I can see yours too. I appreciate you being here. Don't worry. We all know. We've always known. We all understand you. Don't worry about it. Everybody's still got to figure out if they're good or if they're not good or if they're bad or if who's this or who's that or I've seen that or listen. We've all seen all of them, and clearly all this is still going on. See, what I talk about here is collective consciousness. I'm here to assist, right? Aren't we all? Right? I'm here to make it, apparent what this place has been doing, what the Matrix been doing. Right? I'm not worried about myself here, you know. And that's how I've always felt my whole life. Like I'm good. I'm good. I've always been good, you know like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, there's really not that, and except for when you're not, you're not, we all go through life, I guess, right? But yeah, don't worry. I've been watching this game for a long time. And they're starting to annoy me. So I I had to I had to start talking smack about everything. Well, essentially is what it feels like. That's how I know. I can tell with your lingity here. I love it. Because that's the true lingity. You're just speaking your truth. We all have our level of our truth, and it all has different levels. It's like I've talked to people, they say, "Oh, well, what's the point in saying anything? Because nobody gets it, so there's no point in saying blah 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 blah." But then I'm like, "But that means you gave up, right?" Oh, I've said this on my show before. It's like, what do you mean? What's the point? Like the saying, the kung fu: "He who knows does not say, and he who says does not know." And all that stuff. And I'm just like, right. Well, clearly that's how and why we're still stuck here. Like, what kind of saying is that? Like, it sounds so nice. I got it. You're so wise, but it's like, no, how about the guy who knows says something? How about that? Well, if we try something like that, maybe that's how we're going to get out of here. So, no, I've already done all the misnomers and you're not, no more with this. I'm setting them all straight. And it's a lot of work. But I like to hop on here and give the collective updates from my perspective, of course, as we all can only be. Um, Spirit are funny beings, that is for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like how, yeah, cutting duality and cutting itself off, viewing it as the bad side. Yeah. Well, it's the whole concept. It's like when I've talked about the religious stuff, people talk about Adam and Eve and Lilith and all of this. And it's just like, yeah, Lilith, everybody says Lilith was the bad one, but didn't she get, didn't they like diss her? They totally dissed her in order to make Eve the more perfect woman. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. But Lilith is the bad person, right? And again, it's all nuance. I'm not trying to get into it. That's conversations forever, but it's the energy. It's the energy here. You know, there's only perception of bad, and people got to realize that there's only perception of bad. It's not even good, right? Like it's easy to be, I mean, something good happens to you, you feel good. It was good. It's easy. Something bad happens, you hurt your leg, or arm, then yeah, then it's bad. But it's just not taking life so serious, right? They're just words, you know. Like I'm done. I'm no more spells, no more none of this. No, it's not spell, it's reality. This is why science and spirituality are separate, right? That's why I tease both of them, because they don't work until they unite, until we start saying, like, yes, energy is wavelengths and frequencies and sound and color healing, and all of these things are real. But the whole world's just going to sit there and argue about everything about it, until they figure it out. I don't know. Or just, until, yeah, it gets figured out. Thank you. So glad the guides are here. Yeah. You're perceived as a bad guy and overly rude. Right. It's again, it's constantly doing that to us. Oh, hey, Andrea. Um, NDE stories. That's cool. Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that. I had a sync with that recently, or like a note on that NDEs, that's really when a lot of people realize, you know, how that there's so much more to all of this, or like it, and then you get sent back, like it's not your time yet, and what you have to do, and why you're here, and the fact that you're always loved, and all of this stuff. Like it really is, like, it's what you think. So people say, where do you go when you pass on? And you go wherever you go. Like if you don't think anything happens, well, something's going to happen, and you're probably not going to be ready for it. So it's like, but then if you go with an open heart, you're going to go, and we always say you're going to be shown. We always say that other people are showing us, other people are doing it for us, because we grow up in this world where we're so separate, we're individualized, where somebody told me and I learned from them and I learned from over there, but we're not recognizing that it's all really inside of us. So where you go is where you go, and it's where you go, and that's it. There isn't a book that's going to tell you, stuff like that. So I really like the near death experience stories, because they're the familiar, or the common theme seems to be that everybody always has like this great warmth feeling of love, and they see family, or they this and that, and a lot of that has to do with where your consciousness or subconscious, what it's thinking, what it wants to see, what it doesn't. If you see your family, if you see, like, you'll see what's important to you, like, life flashes before your eyes, or whatever the case is. And but a lot of that depends on the person, because I would think someone who's ready to go, they would just go. They'd close their eyes, they'd go, and they wouldn't have to worry. It's some reason there's this worry about your whole life, and that's how it happens to people. So it's like, it's not just that it's not spiritual, and it's not that it's not just in your head, but it's like, we got to stop separating it. That's the whole problem, is that science acts like it's not spiritual somehow, and literally all it is measuring the tools, or measuring how creation exists, from energetic and spiritual levels. Like, like we just don't have we just don't talk about it that way. It's like all the things you can prove through, like the meditation. When, I've said before, he meditated, went into his lower belly, and then they said he was brain dead, and in his brain on the machines, he should have been dead. So it's, yeah, we got to get past everything. There's so much more to get past than people realize. And this why I do my videos, because I see a lot of that stuff. It's not just some simple, rebel, school system's bad, haha, because we're kids and whatever. It's like, no, like I feel intimately and like all of these things and how they're just wrong. Like, and it's not like, again, right or wrong. I'm not trying to do that, but it's like, it ain't life giving. It ain't life, all the mentalities, all the things people are worried about all the time, all the things people keep trying to do, keep thinking they got to do, all the thought patterns, right? Just throw them all out. Throw them all out. That's why the further along I get, the farther away I'm going. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep doing this stuff. Like, I'm not even gonna want to participate anymore at some point. Like, I used to want to help a lot, but it's just like, it's too funny. No, I always will. I can't help it. Like I said earlier, I'll never give up. Is that 9? Oh, did you have one? A near death? Yeah. Lawful evil. There you go. Yeah, I always liked the chaotic goods and stuff like that, or because law. I don't like the word law. I hate you know what I mean. I mean, I know there's, because we call them laws, but it's like, no, it's just the mechanics of it. It's how it works. It's not a law. It's the mechanics. It's the law of the matrix is not the law, but you could call it that, right? So I agree, but I don't like that word law. It's such a bad word. It's a terrible word, if you ask me. No offense. Like, again, I'm not saying I totally know what you mean by that, right? I say it too. It's still a word. We all got to use it. But I like that. Yeah, I've always liked I could never be too neutral or too one side or the other. But I'm never. That's the balance. Everybody wants to be in balance, but too much happiness, that's not balance. Doesn't mean you need to be sad, but you need to learn balance as a thing, right? It's happy and sad. Balance doesn't mean being happy or sad. It means balance. It means balance. Balance means balance. It means you're good no matter what. And if you want, you can choose to have a slight happy smile, right? Just a smirk, just a little energy towards the good, right? Sit in your balance, but give peace, be kind, be nice, right? That's all you gotta do. That's the Buddha, right? He said, one of his disciples said to him, what, you've done so much for us. What can I do? What can we do for you? And then he said, just smile. Just give me your smiles. That means everything. Think how powerful that is. I think of that all the time. That's why I always smile. I always try to laugh. I always try to smile. I always try to, you can change the environment around you like that. You can change someone else like that just by smiling, ignoring everything that just happened, everything that they just said, and going, huh? Hey, how's it going? You're right. Be weird. Whatever. Breaks attention. That's what I've always liked to do, breaking attention. It's just, I try to do it nicely. The older I get, the church is like, I don't know, but I'm trying to do this nicely. Try to be nice. That's why I say in my videos, to be nice. One video to rule all videos. One ring to rule them all. One thing to do, just be nice. Because when you're nice to yourself, you're nice to others, you're considerate. Excuse me. I'll make sure everything's going okay. Hold on. I think I got water. It's the sage. I can smell and taste it. It's funny. I gotta open the window. Yeah, I've been going for a while. I'm not doing the usual card reading. This is my new session, Tuesday Truth something. I don't know. And then, like I said, we'll be on again later. What time? About 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, I'll be on with Jeanette. What was this? Looks around. Oh yeah, And so many things. Yeah, Adam's right. Second wife, not even recorded. There's so many things. That's what I mean. Like everybody's trying to make sense with what we got, and we don't even got anything. We don't got none of it. Like you don't know the stories. We don't, it's like you listen and there's an article came out a long time ago. Was it the Open Hand or something like that? Where it was supposedly a being from one of these powerful ancient families, the most ancient one that's more ancient than the other ones who think they're ancient, and et cetera, et cetera. Um, and how, the story that they're told is that you can ascend light side or dark side up to a certain density. And the story that they're told about Jesus and Yahweh was, has to do with like, that he wouldn't let people grow. So he had his Garden of Eden where everybody was, oh, it was a Garden of Eden, but nobody was allowed to like express themselves. Nobody was allowed to be different. Nobody was really allowed to, and stuff like that. So from their perspective, he's not the good guy, and then there's all these negotiations and deals with what to do with Terra and this and that, and then I'm just sitting here like yawning, like while I'm reading this, because it's like none of these ancient galactic, none of them sound like they know, I've already talked about this on the show. I don't want to start picking on everybody, but there's a reason why we're here. And you're learning what you're learning and you're resonating with what you're resonating with is because, more beyond all of those. Every single one, every single being that says anything about anything anymore, like to me, no, sorry, no, none of them are more powerful than you guys are or than I am. Period. Sorry, it's over. And I don't care. Try what you must. Right. That's what's been going on this whole time. And I haven't done my incarnations, and I'm not who I am now in this life to ever be told otherwise by anyone, no matter what council you say you're a part of. You know what I mean? This is why I'm here, is to destroy all of the councils. We don't need any of them. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean that if you guys want to call yourselves the Council of Light, okay, fine. That's great. Hi, how you doing? My name is Michael. This Vessels. My name's Michael. How's it going around here? You know what I mean? Talk to me, Miss. Talk to me. I'd love to get to know you guys. I can't wait to get to know you guys. You guys are the Council of Light. That sounds fantastic. Now tell me about yourself. I'll see how full of shit you are or not. It's all in the beginning. It's this amazing story, and there's all the beings, and you get involved in all this and all that. And it's not that it's not true. It's not that it's not an amazing story. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's just Groundhog's Day again. That's what I've always been saying. It's just Groundhog's Day. Yeah. Yeah, people that don't comprehend. Yeah, it does legitimize it for them. Yeah, but and that's the thing, because they need a lot more of the examples. It helps them to all the different ways. Because that's the whole point. It's what you resonate with, and after a while, you realize you resonate with everything, because we do. We have a push or a pull towards something or away from something, or we have or no resonant. Like, I mean, we have it's all always happening. The whole idea of becoming awake and consciously aware all the time. How conscious are you of your breath and of your breathing, how you're, this and that, being fully consciousness, or fully conscious, right? Having that, it's so much to realize. And like they always say, we're creating every single second of every single day, every nanosecond, we're always creating whatever it is, so it's the reality of choosing to just give up and back out or whatever, it's not even a real thing. You can't give up because you're here right now. You're living, you're breathing. Again, doesn't matter. Even if you want to give up and you just want to sit there, you don't want to do nothing, you want to give up, you still haven't given up because you're right there. You're still sitting there and you're in the game, or whatever. It's like, we try to get out of the game. Oh, I'm not part of the game. I'm an ancient being. I'm outside the matrix. No, you're not. You are. We all are. It's just awareness. It's just awareness. That's it. It's just awareness, because that's all that's happening is we have more and more epiphanies and more awakening, more, conscious awarenesses and downloads. It's just realizing more and more and more. It's like the one time when I was laying on the floor, I think we were meditating. I used to help teach courses, on channeling, for those of you who don't know. And at one point I was like laying on the floor, during one of the sessions, and I wasn't I don't think I was hosting it, at that time, on that session. But all of a sudden I'm like, I could feel myself looking at myself, from way up high, and I was coming down like towards myself, and I was just like, whoa, that was cool. I was like, now how do we do that all the time, right? And so then later you learn to do that all the time, and it doesn't feel the same way because it's not that same thing that's happening. It's that you realize that you're already looking at yourself. You know what I mean? So it's this whole gaining your powers back, learning this, it's learning that, it's all awareness. It's all knowing what you really are, what you can truly do, how to activate it, and what it really means. So a lot of times, it's like people learning how to open their third eye. Sometimes people do it spontaneously. Sometimes people, nail it, or it's like trying to hit a home run. Sometimes you're going to crank one out, and it's just going to be that one random time, or whatever. But the more we try to, it's that's why I say it's like the sensation. We have to be feeling things more. We have to be like awareness, right? Of course, writing things down helps. Right? Explaining all this stuff, I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it helps. Yeah. Oh, you were. Oh wow, cursed, yo. Yeah, Mandela effects. Yeah, I feel like well, you can feel when you walk through a new corridor. Yeah. You don't do sage? I love all the tools, all the smells. I was gonna do Palo Santo, but I just haven't done it in a while. I haven't done any of them. Run from that topic. Right. So, and that's why I say, like, I've been a blabber and I blab about all this stuff. So that's why I like doing this, because I'm not asking for you to believe me, but I'm here to tell you what's going on. And yeah, and I'm not bought and paid for. I'll never be. And that's another thing too, it's like that's how you're talking to the real ones. I mean, that's how I look for it for people, when I'm listening to them. Are they just parroting the old story from ascensionglossary.com? Right? Which is a great website, and it's very important that everybody gets familiar with it and reads and learns a lot about the stuff and a lot about what's going on. But the more I learn about tribes of this tribes and that tribes, and these guys were good, these guys were bad, it's like, yeah, I know. Just, can I take a nap now? Where's my 500-year meditation, please? I thought that was coming up already. I thought I was supposed to be here already. 500-year meditation, please. I just want to go away forever. It's like, this place is just, it's not helping. I'm just teasing. And that's why I say, I think a lot of us, that's how we feel. It's what people go through. It's what, and we got to talk about it more. We We talk about it more often. Stop being a scaredy cat. Like, something's wrong with me because I don't believe like you believe. It's just we got it, man. We got to right. And I refuse to let anything douse my flame. Like, no, I'm not giving up. I'm not gonna stop blabbing. Never. Right? I'm a Libra. I am the owner of time. You must understand this. Okay. I run the scales with my at. Okay. That's what we do. Anubis, Osiris. Hello. These are my friends. These are my brothers and sisters. All of these beings, man. There's so many of us. And these are just the current incarnation reference ones, It's like if you look up the story of Jesus and connect it with like all the other beings. Like Jesus wasn't the first one who healed the sick. He wasn't the first one to even rise back after 3 days from the grave, rise from the grave. He's not the first one to walk on water. He's not the first one to, you know what I mean? Like it's all just it's archetypes. And then you get into the tarot cards and you get into everything. It's a pattern. It's all a pattern, right? Look at life as an energetic pattern. And then it makes a lot more sense when you see the sacred geometry symbols and how vibration does the sound. You guys have seen the sand that does the different vibration hertz. If you haven't checked that out, that's really cool. We all know it, but I think it's really cool anyways. Right? It creates all the patterns. And then Tesla said it himself. It's 369. Or he said it when he said, think of it as energy and vibration. I think he only said energy and vibration, something like that. He nailed it. He nailed it. Come on, we're going to do 3 of these. Hey, look at this guy. First card. All right. Missing link. Earth passed. It looks like he's got a tie on. He's working in a cubicle. Look, he's putting pieces together. Yeah, that's me right here, the missing link. I'm tying it all together. That's funny. I always do 3 of these. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Right. Yeah, welcome to the edge of the coin. That is the 3rd side. Right, yeah. I choose to be on the no side, the no thing. The no thing. And that's because I studied Taoism and the Wuji, which I always talk about. The place before yin and yang, the birthplace of polarity, right? So everybody's like, oh, light, or, hot gives rise to cold. And I'm like, okay, but what created all of that? What created the thing that created that, the thing, right? So it's the nothing and the something and the oneness. And then you realize it's all a circle and it's all just connected to each other. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. Yes, look at this. I've never gotten this card. Then we got unconditional love. I'll just show you. Unconditional love. Arcturus parallel. Oh, come on, man. Can I get a focus? Can I get a amen? They're pretty cards. I want to show. There you go. I'm going to show you the colors. It's like watercolors. Arcturus parallel. Unconditional love. So we got the missing link, Earth. Arcturus. Unconditional love. Earth is past. Arcturus is parallel. That's all the help we're getting. There's a lot of love from the Arcturians. At least the ones that I channel. There's a lot going on with them. They're very technological, in a way, but don't let their energy, it's like their energy feels like metal, I think is one way to put it. They're still, it doesn't mean that they aren't biological. This isn't a good way of explaining them. That's how they feel. So you might feel a little weird if you ever channeled Arcturians, but they're really cool. They're really cool dudes and dudettes. And then we got Earth Future, seeing the one. So there you go. I love it. I love how they do this. I didn't really pull cards. I didn't even pull my crows. But that's because it's not Sunday. And I just felt like this was a weird impromptu, and it's been 2.5 hours, and I need to go. So we got Earth, past missing link. He's looking to his left. Anyways, conditional love, Arcturus, parallel, and then and then seeing the one Earth, future. So that kind of works. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Past, parallel, and future. So were we not talking about, Mandela effects and walking through portals? I mean, you literally know at some point you become aware of this all, and you start to sensitize yourself to it because of your awareness is growing. So it starts to become real. And then you realize when you're just walking down the street, or you've walked, or you're in a store or grocery shopping, I don't know, or you're walking out to the car, and or out of your own house or somewhere in your house, and you just walked into or through a portal. Like, it's real. Just want to keep going like that and like that and like McFly, because it's real. It's all real. It's just the words. It's the vocabulary. It's what do we call it? It's like when any of this is coming out, and people hear of channeling, and they say, oh, I don't like the word channeling, and I like the word medium. And then there's me, and it's like, yeah, okay, there's differences, but whatever. It is what it is. It still is energy. It still is, I mean, it's like you lose it's like my nana passed away, great grandma, when I was little, I think I was 18. We're young. I think we're kind of young. She was still around. We had 4 generations until I was about 18. And but when she came to me after she passed, it was like I knew it instantly. I didn't have to ask any questions. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to say that, right? And it just happened. It was boom, and I sensed it. And I don't need to go to college. I don't need to even take spiritual course classes. You know what I mean? Like I hate to I hate to ruin the future that we're all thinking is a good future that we want to go into, where we can have spiritual classes all the time, by wanting us to already be done with that, like already be there, because the true spiritual class is just you, yourself, and your own connections, and that's all you ever have to worry about. You don't need to take any classes. The classes are for how to shoot fireballs. That's what the classes are for, where we actually teach, but of course we got to get there. So what am I saying? I got lost in translation with Nana, because Nana just boom, and I didn't have to ask. I didn't have to look it up. I didn't have to, and now that doesn't mean we don't have to learn how to do things. Yeah, like cook, properly. Yeah, learn how to build a house. Yeah, we have to learn how to do, certain things, of course, but a lot of it is not necessary, not for life. And that's what we need. That's what we need it to be. Here's life where everyone is supported and lives off the land, off, you know what I mean? However, and we do what everybody needs: food, water, shelter. That's it. Everything else, okay, isn't something to go and make billions of dollars off of and then wreck the economy somehow. Everything else is just extracurricular activities, okay, and it's not that important. Like if we all had food, water, shelter, and we weren't wanting for anything, like I always say this, what would we be needing to figure out? There wouldn't be all these problems. People wouldn't even need religion. You know what I mean? They wouldn't, everybody would be praising their God, and we'd have all these different gods, but they'd all be doing it perfectly because we'd all be being taken care of. It would just be the same thing that we're doing now. You know what I mean? Just in a different way. It's too funny. Well, like they say, poor people find Jesus quick, as a saying. But yeah, I've already talked about that on the show. And it's not to say that it's, it's not real anyways. It's not, but it's it's a whole other conversation. I don't know. I'm only saying what I'm saying for today, and that's what I'm saying. And like I said, it's unorthodox. I don't plan these things out. I'm not. I think keeping people on a linear way of learning is not going to get us there. That's just what I think. So, you know, that's what I feel like. No, it's good. I get it. It's going to work for people, but if like no, we just need to teach it normally, and then people get it eventually. Like you don't have to, you know, take this class first, and then that class, and then this class, and then that class. In order to progress. And I mean, it does help, sure, but it's all depends on the mind of the person that's having to go through it. So there's going to be a million different ways to do it. So I talk about in the show, right? The 10,000 things, the myriad of things. There's too many ways. All roads lead back to Rome, right? We're going out too far and getting lost and forgetting to stay home, stay by the house. So funny. Yeah, story of Horace. Nice. So you're a chimera, not that kind, not those, not the arachnids. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the actual from mythology, the chimera with the scorpion tail. Right. That's like a cool. Oh yeah, YouTube and Facebook. I usually broadcast this on Facebook, but I lost my connection to it through StreamYard and I have to reconnect, and that means I got to make a new Facebook password, and I just really don't care anymore. I had a, I feel bad. I had a group page, a group on Facebook, and I haven't posted anything onto it for a while because it just seems all repetitive and oversaturated. This whole thing, this whole market that's coming out. So I'm gonna come out and get my website, all this other stuff going, marketing, all this stuff, and we'll see. And then the podcast, yeah, we'll probably be starting a podcast. So today's kind of the kickoff. We haven't decided on the name of it yet. And like I said, websites, so we're doing this as we go. I don't know. I'm not trying to act like I'm a fancy smancy, professional guy. Right? Because I already am. I don't need to prove it. Yeah. Like if you need me to dress up in a suit, you're gonna be real easy to fool. If you can't tell, then you can't tell. Like I can't help you with that. Like, I mean, I can. I'm trying. I mean, I'm always here. But if you need a suit, you're gonna get star spangled suited. Yeah, fault on both sides. Exactly. It's the dance. Totally. All the beings ever. So, and if you think of it that way too, if we are the past, future, whatever versions of our higher selves who are these great beings of whatever. Well, obviously they messed up because I had to come back and fix myself. It's like we gotta stop getting everything's all star spangled. The whole world looks at the whole everything is if it's this star spangled thing. Whether it's we're all worshiping something, whether it's like politics or economy or money or celebrities or a song or a being, or then we get into this whole spiritual side, and then we're worship where I'm on the light side and dark side, and everybody's, and it's just like it's all just a bunch of babies. And I don't mean us. I mean, because we obviously are, but I mean like all these stories. Like this being, that being, that being, this being, bing, 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 bing. It's like, yeah, I got it already. I don't need a Lucifer story. We don't need a God. We don't need heaven. We don't need hell. Just to know that, yeah, you as a being in that moment did something messed up, or you did something fantastic. And either way, we love you, no matter what. Right. And now what are we going to do? You know what I mean? But everybody wants this epic story. Everybody wants to live as if it's this superhero movie, and essentially that is what this game is it the Matrix, the movie The Matrix. That was pretty freaking close. You know what I mean? I mean, not all this, not on the nuances, not in the specific. That was as close as we're gonna probably get. That in 1984 was that one. Roddy Piper, right? Like we've had these movies, already. We've already done this stuff, but we just keep doing it over and over because they're erasing it from the memory, the immediate memory of people, so that we don't remember that we've already been down these rodeos all the time. It's always Groundhog's Day. Like I was saying earlier, like, was it just 1950s Roswell? That's when we made the pact, and that's when it all went bad. So you mean it was going great this whole time before then? Like Egypt and the Mayans, they were doing great. It was just 1950. That's when it all went bad. Like, no, like I'm done. Like, aliens didn't just start showing up. You know what I mean? Like, all of this stuff doesn't make any sense. And everybody's asking for their sense to be told to them. I guess that. Yes, max camera focus. Yeah, seriously. Some due diligence. Okay, I'll accept. Superficial probably was. Yes, I remember when I forgot that word that I was looking for. Yeah. Truth is a point, right? With many paths. Exactly. That's a good one. Truth is not several paths leading to a point. It's a point with many paths. Exactly. Right. Because because if you're in the truth, you're sitting there and you're just hanging out. But if you're not, you're constantly looking for that path, but you're stuck on the path. I like that. That's cute. The Greada Treaty. Oh no, I haven't. That sounds cool. Yeah. Everybody, they like their treaties and their laws and their pacts and their contracts. Yeah. I'm not really big into those things. Never really have been, I think there's a lot of us out there that feel that way too, and so yeah, I love that everybody's got a treaty. Everybody seems to need a piece of paper, a list, or a document in order to know how to function, how to be. You know what I mean? Like, that says a lot about a lot of things. And I'm not trying to tease, because I've had to learn too. I mean, we all grow up as kids for the most part. I think we're all kids growing up, right? Most of us, anyway. Not any of the clones or something, right? Like, whatever is out there. But yeah, we all got to learn stuff like that too. But at some point, it's you got to realize, like, you already knew. It's that everybody started telling you something other than what you already knew, because they forgot how to listen. And that's like any parents, or they try to raise you right. It makes sense. They're trying to tell you what to do, and they got to be stubborn, and they got to put their foot down, and because they feel it's right overall, even though perhaps you would do it, but you do it in a new way, so, but they can't imagine the new way, because it hasn't been done that way before, right? So then it's just natural. We gotta forgive and let it go. Stop having all these problems. Like, so many people out there that have psychological, daddy issues or mommy issues or whatever, and it's like, just stop. Like, like, yeah, if you were raised in a dysfunctional anything, you're going to learn how to cope. Like, literally, you're just a poster child for life on earth. We all are. Like, it's all of us on every single exam. Some people didn't have the same one that you did, and maybe some had, like really great, parents, whatever, raised really well. But then because of that, then they have trouble understanding society, because people who haven't, and so then they think people like that are all just mean, or they're just dysfunctional, or they need therapy and this and this. And it's like, no, they have a perspective that's valid and true for all other types of people that are going through similar situations for them, or with them, or similar to them. And it's for them. It's for them to figure out that stuff and to work together. It's not for somebody who comes from Mr. Perfect land to come over and tell them, well, this is what perfect looks like. Again, I'm just blabbing here, saying the same things over and over. Like I feel since I was 5, at least in my head, more when I was a kid, because I didn't even know how to articulate this stuff. Like, you kidding me? There's a 5-year-old, there's no way in the heck. And then just to think of that too, how different it was a couple decades ago. The energy was thicker. It was thicker. It's way thicker. Right now, the energy's faster. You can tell the vibration's rising. People might be still upset and angry and everything's going on in the world and blah, 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 but it's lighter than it was years ago. And that's just my interpretation. That's my way of understanding it, maybe. But, it's definitely moving in a more light and positive direction. Like I said, we're not in the dark ages anymore, even though technically it's just a different form of control. The internet pretty much blew all of it open, right? I think that was the one thing one of the guys said. I don't know if he's from the CIA or something or whoever, or he's like a senator. I don't know. Somebody said something like that, like maybe the internet wasn't such a good idea or something of the sort. Like it kind of backfired, kind of ruined it for all of us. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And then that's why I love the meme that says taking down the system one meme at a time or something like that. It's like, yes, like this is how subtle it's going to be, right? It's not going to be extravagant. It's not going to be this huge thing everybody needs to see, spectacle. That's what everybody's addicted to, spectacle. No, we're going to take them out and it's going to be done by the ninjas and nobody's even going to know we were there. And we're going to, and I'm going to be here literally telling all of us that it's happening. And you're still not going to know I did it or we did it. You know what I mean? Like I'm your friendly neighborhood public ninja, right? Because I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I don't even remember what I just said. Half of this stuff, like seriously, even though it's recorded. But what do I mean by it? I mean, it's all the nuance and context, and I mean, literally, there's so many dimensions of things to talk about that. It's just there's so much. So that's what's fun. That's why this is fun. I know all of us ninjas. We are so ninja squad. It's like Ninja Dragon, Double Dragon. When I was a kid playing Double Dragon, it's like one of my favorite games for Nintendo. Is it Nintendo? Double Dragon. It's too funny. Like we're already here. Like I'm so much of a ninja, I don't even know I'm a ninja. And I'm so much of a dragon that I'm gonna burn everything down. But I won't even know what happened. I'll fix my head. Like, everybody good? Like, sorry, I didn't know it was a Tommy Davidson joke. It's hilarious. He said he has an aunt that'll just smack everybody, smack up all the kids, and then all of a sudden she don't know what happened. She's fixing her hat. She's like, "Everybody okay?" Because she got so upset. She didn't even know. She comes back to reality. Oh yeah. Don't worry, Curse. We will. We've been meeting everybody from out there. And if all these funds and all this benevolence is going to come and the QFS, it's going to come to the people who put in to be responsible for these things. Well, yeah, listen, that's what I've been asked for. I've been asked for that since I was like little. I could have like already grown up into it and been good at it by now. Like I'm already ready. Like you're telling us to wait. You guys aren't ready. That's the problem. We've been ready. We're the ones we're looking for, I thought. We've been ready. I've been ready to do something real like this whole time instead of working at, whatever. I said, whatever you're doing with your life, whoever, shout out. I don't care if you're working, however you're working, but it's like this. So we need to do more work. All right, let's go. Let's do some more work. Well, I would prefer the right work, right? We don't do the work that all the humans see. Right? Nods firmly. Oh, no doubt. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm gonna get off because it's almost 3 hours, and I should probably go. I've just been blabbing. I have no idea how this is gonna come out. I didn't know what I was gonna say. I didn't know where it was gonna go with it. All I know is I haven't been on for a month, so it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. Got a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two. Okay, so there's a lot of step twos right there. They do that a lot in music. They repeat it, you know. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why this is the most amazing place in the universe, like one of the most amazing places, because it's all here for us, for you. It's all happening. You can be who you want. You can act how you want. You can say what you want. You can be truthful. You can be a liar. You can, you can be superficial. You can be deep. You can be whatever it is that you want to be. And that's what we forgot. We forgot that because we kept listening to like the limitations. And it's like, but we got unrealistic about it, or whatever. Like we got, oh, can't do this, can't do that, right? Like the guy, give up on life. Oh, so what? Life sucks. It's like, no, like it's like obviously you're not going to be able to do everything all the time, like you know what I mean. But you can do stuff and just keep doing more stuff and go forward, or you know what I mean. Like yeah, okay, like sure, we're in a vessel. Period. Like we're not as like we used to be, can fly anywhere, do anything, whatever, no, that's obvious. So just relax, have some fun while we're here. I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time. That's what we say, right? Just like Thanksgiving, right? I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. This is with the family and we had a blast. We were cracking jokes left and right. We had a great time. So, all right. Love you guys too. See you soon, Angel. Perhaps. You guys got to come out this time, next time. Come out this time, come out this way. Wait, I don't know. I'm just coming down from all this right now. I don't know what's happening. I can feel my chi entering my lower dantian right now. It's going, my Ming Men's opened. And it's like, oh, yes. You're welcome, Andrea. Thank you. Thanks for checking it out. I hope it was helpful. Because honestly, like there's so much kooky craziness, and it's really just not like conspiracy, whatever, woo, it's just normal stuff, right? But we all got to talk about it, and we all just forgot how to talk to each other, and we're all getting all whooped up on, are the archangels real? Yeah, sure, that's great. I hope we get to hang out one day. I don't know, like, but I'm not trying to discredit it. I'm not trying to discredit, channeling or mediumship or messages from angels or, but it's all part of the discernment. What are you channeling? Why are you channeling it? Take care of yourself, your own vibration, so you're not channeling negative things, right? It's simple. It's the same as don't have a negative thought. It's the same thing. You could be any part of the day and you can choose, but always make sure you are consciously aware and in control of what your choice is going to be and how you're going to feel, and it's simple. It's simple. All this life, what's the meaning of life? It's nothing. It's easy. It's easy, but they don't want you to know that. So you keep looking for buying products and taking courses and selling. They're selling us the cures. Remember the cure. Okay. Love you guys. And peace out. 222222223. I just looked. 223. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Mwah. Mwah. Love you guys. All day, every day. Peace out.